control. This left many customers dissatisfied with their orders.
BGC put too much time into scaling the company rather than, what was this again? I'll make sure I...
The company rather than quality control. This left...
Okay.
Many customers dissatisfied with their orders for good reasons, because, I mean, some of those burgers looked absolutely unedible. Like, as you can see in this image, which was in this lawsuit.
That's not a hamburger. I've seen that. Whenever I go to the grocery store, and I go to the meat section, and, like, the hamburger meat in the package, that's the way it looks.
That burger's not cooked. And I mean, any reasonable person wouldn't want their brand associated with it.
I think that burger is probably cooked enough for somebody who really likes super rare meat. But most burgers are cooked medium well. With like a thin layer of pink in the middle, if that.
The unexpected.
So, he wants to get out of the deal with BDC, and he's seeking an undecided amount of money, but claims in excess of $10 million in damages. Then, a few days later, after Mr. Beast filed his lawsuit, BDC, in my opinion, made some laughable statements. Well, the funniest one being, in reality, Mr. Donaldson's notoriety...
BDC asserted that the YouTube star's brand grew exponentially in part because of the Mr. Beast burger brand itself. I think that the Mr. Beast burger brand did obviously provide value to Mr. Beast, and I think that it did expand the scope of what people see Mr. Beast as. It was like a diversification that I think few people had tried before in the past, but I don't think that it really did it because of...
Let's do this again.
I think it did it in a symbolic way. I don't even think it was the burger itself, I think it was the fact that he was doing it.
Has grown exponentially over the life of the Mr. Beast burger.
Also exponentially, like how the fuck do you, like, it would have been stupid thing to say, because exponentially, like you're talking about like multiples. Like how can you possibly prove that?
Man, in part because of the Mr. Beast burger brand itself. Yeah, let me know if any of you have found Mr. Beast eating a burger and going, oh wow, this burger is great, let me check out that YouTuber behind this. Well, hey, what's new to this story? Well, he was sued for over $100 million by...
Yeah, it's like, how can they prove that? Like, I'm sure that they can prove that people watched Mr. Beast, and, like, you know, for example, there might have been people who saw it. Like, I'm sure that what he said happened, but I don't think that it happened at a rate that's even worth considering.
BDC, and that's nothing else that's stressful. But I'm sure they were expecting this because they went on the offense first. It says he's being sued for failing to honor his contractual obligations as well as intentional torturous interference, where they claim damages are alleged to exceed $100 million. BDC says, in quote, the case about a social media celebrity who will use his fame means that his word does not matter. The facts don't matter, and that he can renege and breach his contractual obligations without consequences. The suit states he is mistaken.
Okay, so... Mr. Beast saying that he canceled his thing because of quality control. Like, I don't even think that's necessarily... Like, quality control is a problem for many companies. And the companies that it's not a problem for generally don't have that good food.
I couldn't find the lawsuit itself, but I found a Variety article where they paraphrased a lot of the important parts of how to influence it. For that reason, this suit claims the Donaldson's breaches of the parties' agreements and interference with the business dealings have damaged the reputation of Mr. Beast Burger and BBC, turning away customers and ruining relationships with suppliers and vendors, impacting the bottom lines of hundreds of restaurants around the world.
I think that's probably true. I actually do think that's true. Because Mr. Beast probably said that it sucked. And I think that people, like, if I read Mr. Beast's tweet, or even saying something like, if I read his tweet about why they got rid of it, my assumption would be that the food sucked. I mean, is that weird? Because I saw this tweet that he did, I was, like, kind of surprised by it. Yeah, I would think, like, oh, okay, so it's not. So, it sucked. But, like, personally, I don't really think it's, like, quality control issue. It's not like he's making it up. It's not like he's just saying, oh yeah, this is so bad, I hate this so much, and there's like not dozens of pictures of burgers that are not cooked properly. So he had bad reviews online. Yeah, this isn't like his opinion.
Oh my god.
Just made up. This is a consensus from a lot of people with visual evidence of it. And also, like, how is that not, like, bad for him? Like, these people effectively influence his brand. Like, again, Mr. Beast should be suing them. They should be giving him money. I think what they're really doing is they are suing him, they're counter-suing him to preserve their own reputation. I think that they know that they fucked up, and I think that they're only doing that in order to muddy the waters and make it seem like they didn't fuck up.
This wanton conduct has caused plaintiffs to suffer enormous financial harm. The suit says the complaint claims that Donaldson failed to comply with his contractual publicity and promotional obligations, failed to publicly support the brand, and undermined it by making untruthful or misleading statements. The suit...
So, untruthful or misleading statements. I don't know, like, I looked at that burger and it didn't seem like quality control was really there. And also, he was explaining his reasoning for why he ended his contract with the company. He wasn't even saying that is like an objective fact, or that company doesn't do quality control. He's saying that's why he ended it, which is like his personal standard might be different than the company's personal standard.
It alleges that the massive YouTube star has made disparaging comments about Mr. Beast Burgers and BDC. The lawsuit contains example of tweets from Donaldson, some that appear to have been deleted from the social media star's account, where Donaldson wrote to his millions of fans that he wished to close the burger business and said, "The company I partnered with won't let me stop, even though it's terrible." The YouTube star wrote, "Young Beast signed a bad deal." Another time he wrote, "If I had the ability to close it, I would have done so a long time ago, sadly. Sometimes when you're young, you sign a shitty deal." The lawsuit.
So, let's look at that. I think this should all hinge on whether it's true or not. Because I don't think that they should be able to fucking sue him for saying this if it's true. Because if this is actually accurate, and it's a true thing, it's a real problem, and there's evidence of it, there's reviews, anybody can logically say that it's going to be bad for your brand if you open up a store that has bad quality food. You're selling bad food that's not cooked, and people are getting sick. Yeah, I think that even an 80-year-old judge would say, I think that's bad for business. Yeah, of course. And also it being a bad deal is not even a, the deal is not even, sorry, the food is not even the subject of this. It's the nature of the contract. So he's complaining about the contract, not necessarily the food.
Deal. The lawsuit states, like any party to a contract, Donaldson must be held to his word and held accountable for his contractual breaches and other misconduct. Later, it states Donaldson's baseless and unlawful disparagement had the intended effect. Mr. Beast Burger's reputation was materially damaged, if not destroyed. Customers abandoned the brand. Plaintiffs' hard-won relationships with vendors, partners, and suppliers were shattered.
Because they made bad food. Like, that's the problem. That's the price whenever you deliver a product that's bad. I wonder how Mr. Beast can show how the food quality was poor in court, because the company might just bring out the best ones and say that's not true. Well, if he's basing it off of a frame of reference of public sentiment because it's bad for his brand, then his brand exists online. So you could look at all of the pictures and all of the times that people said the food was bad and use that as an argument for it. Yeah, it's documented, there are reviews, there are pictures of it, like there's a lot of these.
Damages to plaintiffs that, according to the evidence and Donaldson's own statements regarding to the value of Mr. Beast Burger, are in the 9-figure range. So this is definitely going to be very interesting to pay attention to. Mr. Beast is now in the big leagues, so he's also being hit with the big league lawsuits. 100 million plus. Oh, that's too much money. Lawsuits suck. Hopefully they settle it outside of court, because if this goes to a jury, that's going to be very...
I hope they stream it. Ooh, I hope they stream it. We'll see what happens, guys. Fingers crossed.
Unpredictable, but I also feel like the odds are higher for it to go to a jury, because both sides seem pretty adamant. Having to pay out over $100 million would definitely...
I think that they should bring it to trial, because this is a company that took advantage of the person's brand, and we need to drag them to the fucking argument. Especially if they had the audacity to try to sue him for $100 million. These are
business, so
it's just like you look at it like this perspective, right? Is that these people are actively endangering people's lives by by sourcing uncooked meat, by not having the correct sanitary protocols involved. This isn't an issue of like somebody makes hats and the hat sticker is falling off. This is a legitimate problem and it hurts people.
I'm really hoping that doesn't happen. I'm definitely hoping things go his way, but he definitely has quite the mess to clean up. But on top of that, a lot of people have been sending me this AI Mr. Beast video because, you know, the narrative for the last couple of months is, oh, AI is going to take over the world and it's going to replace all your favorite YouTubers. And while sure, I feel like some things can be automated, like subtitles, for example, but I feel like we're very far away from just putting into a prompt and having the AI spit out a very engaging video. Especially...
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens in 10 years, we'll see what happens in 5 years.
Contains faint trace of coral.
Really one that feels like it's being created by a real creator. This Mr. Beast AI video kind of proves that. Even though it was kind of a cool bit, and the creators of it are the YouTube OG Jesse Wellens and his friend James from Not a Normal Podcast. And here they made AI Mr. Beast do an intro of what AI Mr. Beast believes is a Mr. Beast video.
We spent $2.5 trillion to create the AI version of Mr. Beast. Literally analyzed hundreds of hours of Mr. Beast content to create Jimmy Twinsy. Not only do I look and sound like Jimmy, I actually think like him too. And I am currently on an uninhabited, abandoned planet, and I plan to stay here for the next 100 years, starting now. Oh, don't forget to eat my chocolates. Peaceable.
I mean, it's cool, but
I think that's pretty fucking good, man.
obviously it's not Mr. Beast nor his...
Yeah, bro, well, like, remember whenever all those anime girls had 6 fingers? Now they've only got 5. So, like, that was crazy, and, like, now you have these dudes that are fucking messaging these girls. Like, I actually was looking at this one girl on Instagram. Do I still have her page open? Fuck, I lost it.
and I think that's kind of like brings up something where it's like, as a creator, you can still create stuff and use AI to help us like just tell a story or do something interesting.
It's likely that we're going to see more AI stuff in the future, but as you said, at least at this point, it's not like you can just write a prompt and it'll spit out that video that we just saw.
like, you used to be able to not write a prompt and then spit out a hot chick, but now you can. You used to be playing Super Mario 3. Now you're playing Baldur's Gate 3. The graphics are different. They're better. The scope of the game is a bit larger. Think about how far video games have come back whenever we started playing games. A lot of you guys probably started in about the 90s, I'd say. It's nuts, right?
No, he actually has to put in a lot of legwork. So on the downside for Mr. Beast, he has to worry about a $100 million lawsuit. On the bright side, he doesn't have to worry about a YouTube AI taking his job anytime soon. But in all seriousness, I hope he figures it out sooner or later, because dealing with that does not sound fun whatsoever. But hey, YouTube thinks that you'll like this video, so I'd recommend you guys checking it out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
But like, here's the thing, is like, Mr. Beast getting sued, I mean, like, I personally think that, like, I think it's really fucking stupid that if these dudes, in general, again, I don't have I'm not a lawyer, but my understanding is that NDAs and non-disparagement agreements cannot encapsulate things that are illegal. So you can't make a person sign an NDA to not speak about something that was done that was illegal. So if Mr. Beast can prove that they didn't follow the sanitary precautions, then he can prove that what he said wasn't a violation of his NDA because they were breaking the law. He can't tell his fans though? Why not? You won't be able to prove that? Of course he can. You got so many pictures, you have so many testimonials. I mean, they can't prove that they weren't. They can't prove that they were, but I think you got a lot of pictures. There's a pretty fucking good chance. You look at a fucking hamburger, and the majority of that shit, where's this disgusting fucking thing? You look at this nasty, disgusting piece of shit. And you know what I call that? Not up to safety standards. No way he loses because people are beyond fucks for obviously endangering people with uncooked food. Yeah, that's what I think, right? And so it's like, how's this dude gonna get sued for exposing a company that was literally using his image and his brand to feed people food that was unsafe? Because that's effectively what happened. Is they broke the rules of the contract themselves. And also, again, like, they're trying to ask him to not talk about something that they broke on. No, they didn't. Yeah, oh really? You think that in the contract it didn't say a measure of quality? You really think that the contract
that does some damage.
Quality at all? Of course it fucking says that. Do you not eat vegan food burgers in the USA? Oh, bro, I eat a hamburger almost raw before it was nasty, but I did it. You say you signed a bad contract? Yeah, but like, how was it bad? Right? Is like, was it bad in this way or not? I'm not sure. It was made by a restaurant, it's not the company. It's a virtual restaurant. Yeah, but like, if it's made by, the thing is, like, if it's made by a restaurant, the company still takes accountability for what happens. So, like, for example, whenever a server, like, makes bad food, that server doesn't get sued. The company that employs the server gets sued, and then the server gets fired. Because they have to take accountability for it. That's just the way it works. Uber Eats Delivery, and I picked up Mr. Beast Burger from a sketchy ghost truck in the back of the shopping center next to trash cans. Oh, that makes sense. That way they can be next to the food they use. Yeah, that's a good point. I can see why it's actually pretty much a W placement. I'll link you all the I'll link it to you guys to the link. They just supply the restaurants. They're not at fault at all. You're wrong. They just supply the restaurants. So you're saying that they can supply any restaurant that they want without having any degree of quality assurance from that restaurant? So you think they completely indemnify themselves from any type of accountability through sourcing it through a third party? I completely disagree with you. I would be astonished if that was in the contract. No fucking way. Like, they still take accountability for it. Like, you know, what if, like, theoretically, right? What if they hired a crackhead, a literal crackhead, and they said, stop making crack if you're going to make Mr. Beast burgers. And he makes Mr. Beast burgers, and there's crack in the burgers. You don't think that they're not going to take any accountability for that? Get the fuck out of here. Of course they will. Of course they will, because they ensure that the service will be at a certain level. It's like owning a franchise. Anyone can buy McDonald's, but at the end of the day, if the franchise is messed up, it's on McDonald's name. It is. And then what happens, right, is that McDonald's gets sued, and then McDonald's sues the franchise owner. You know why? It's because lawyers make a lot of money. That's why. The ghost restaurants work during COVID. It's going to a restaurant. That was permanent. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if they're earning a Denny's kitchen to make the burgers, it's a ghost kitchen. Well, I'm not sure, but what I'm saying is that you still have to uphold a certain level of quality. You take action and have a poison delivered, serving it up, and be like, well, it just got delivered, now my fault? Yeah, exactly. They could sue Mr. Beast for dropping the supply, they closed. How could they sue Mr. Beast? Well, because Walmart didn't say anything bad about them. The one guy who was killed by someone was a FedEx ground employee, which was a franchise. The family skipped the franchise owner and went after FedEx. Well, a lot of people, just because, like, a lot of people are going to sue the biggest fish because that's how they can get the biggest settlement. Like, all of the companies, because, like, you have to remember, a lawyer has to take your case. And a lawyer is going to tell any of these companies, do you want to sue the small franchise owner, or do you want to sue the fucking multi-million-dollar company? You want to sue the multi-million-dollar company, get a $10 million settlement, we take 30% of it, we get paid $3 million for doing fucking nothing, you get paid a lottery, and everybody's happy. These build his brand to be viewed as Jesus and pure goodness. It's only a matter of time before one of his cooks parts and the whole ship goes down. Yeah, I always think it's dangerous for somebody to, try to appeal completely virtuous. It's always dangerous to me. Uh-oh. Yep. Uh-oh.
I regret to inform you, the men are not okay. That's right, folks, the men are not okay. The men have no friends.
Men have fewer friends than their health. The male friendship recession is having dire consequences.
No.
What's behind the rise of lonely super men? Well, I mean, what?
No friend. No company.
Generation of American men give up on college. I just feel lost. Yeah, that sucks.
College education. No money. Are breaking their legs and inserting metal rods into their bones.
It's finally over. 5'5", he's 6'0". What if they measured him in like a year after this, and it turned out that he was 5'11"? Because like, I feel like that's kind of the same thing as 5'5", right? Yeah. Does he get his money back? Does he get to sue them? Like, how does that work? I mean, by the way, I don't think this is like anything wrong with men. I mean, like, girls get boob implants all the time, right? They get the Brazilian fucking butt stuff too. So like, I don't think this is really that surprising.
If you were just forward and listening to AI Batman help them overcome their photography addiction.
I've seen these where it's like Master Chief explains to you why you shouldn't jerk off to incest porn. Master Chief convinces you to leave the dog poop out of your bathtub. No, I'm serious. Like, bro, I'm not kidding. Now, I'm not gonna watch one of these because if I do, I'll probably have to jump out the window. But I just want you to know that it exists.
You deserve real love.
Turns out the society that was built by and allegedly for men has indeed let them down. Now you might be thinking, oh look, another boo-hoo poor men video by Shoe on Head. Yes. And if you have a problem with that, tune into literally anything else. Men are in a crisis.
I don't know how people drink energy drinks. What the hell? Like, they taste good, bro. I've never had one. I had like 2 sips. I said nope.
And it seems nobody really cares. And the people who do care just seem like the people who want to sell them shit. Not me.
Yeah, there's like guys like, yeah, I really care about your problems. Please subscribe to my fucking newsletter for $25 a month, and it'll tell you how to grow chest hair. And that's what you need. You get chest hair, aviator sunglasses, and you have to only wear fitted jeans. And if you do that, you're gonna actually be cool.
On different. So before we get into this, let's quickly get to today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is Holzger. Holzger is a young Austrian company that designs...
You guys remember whenever Summit got his sponsorship dropped from Monster because he was smoking weed on stream? And I went and I said that, you know what Monster Energy should do is they should have a competition. Have somebody that smokes weed non-stop next to somebody who drinks Monster Energy drinks non-stop, and let's see who dies first. And I heard through the grapevine that Monster Energy is not willing to work with me in any capacity whatsoever.
Crafted watches
I was right.
and jewelry made from all natural materials. Their high-quality timepieces come in various designs for both men and women, making them the perfect gift for any occasion. They're a great blend of function and fashion, and overall, I just think they look very flashy, especially the men's watch collection. I was pretty impressed with the silver casing and blue marble dial of the Naturalist watch, which made for a great gift for my boyfriend. He especially loved the casual yet stylish appearance, making it an ideal choice to wear both at work and at home. I'm also really happy with the watch I picked out. It's made from...
Well, actually, I wore a watch in like 4th grade and I lost it.
From black and white marble and features a nice black leather bracelet that just feels so comfy. They also create elegantly crafted earrings, very unique handbags, sunglasses, and necklaces, like this worked marble elevation necklace. It makes a really memorable gift for a loved one. All of their products have a 24-month warranty, and ordering online is super easy.
Bro, XQC's watch was way more than this. Yeah, I mean, come on.
Free shipping to the US and most EU countries in 5 days. So if you want to get yourself a good quality watch and support the channel, I highly recommend checking out the store and clicking the link in the description below. Use my special code SHOE15 at checkout that will give you 15% off for all products store-wide. So go to the link down below and choose your own unique piece of nature. Thank you, Holzger, for sponsoring this video, and thank you, viewer, as always, for not skipping the ads.
Why are men and boys struggling? And what should we do about it?
A few new studies have come out that have shown that young men are more lonely and single than ever before. But it's not just men, but women and children.
I think also, you know, there's a bit of this, like, I think, yeah, it's societal, but there's also a lot of guys that, it's like, you spend your time growing up, like, jerking off to weird porn to the point to where by the time that you turn 18, you're only sexually attracted to animals that don't exist. I think this isn't healthy either. Like, there's a lot of dudes that, like, whenever they see a girl without makeup on, they think that there's, like, something wrong with her.
It's predicted 45% of women will be single and childless by 2030. According to the media, this is a good thing. The she-economy
Why is this a good thing? Oh, because it's retailers saying it's a good thing. Yeah, it's probably true for retailers.
booming, as they say. And meanwhile, men being single is treated like this.
New study explains why some single men,
What is she doing with her face?
why some single men are having a hard time finding a new partner.
Some of the music that they listen to speaks very derogatory.
Right. Yeah, men, stop listening.
It's, yeah. No, I mean, bro, there are so many, like, I've listened to some of these, like, female rapper songs, and they're just as bad. Who the fuck was it that, like, admitted to, like, drugging and having sex? Was it Cardi B? I think it was, right? Yeah. So, like, I don't want to hear that shit. It's the music. Oh, really? It's an argument I haven't heard for 20 years.
Listening to that derogatory music, then maybe
Yeah.
you won't be single. I don't know, I think men and women being single and lonely
I
kind
feel
of
like a lot of the guys that are really single and lonely on the internet, they're not listening to that music. They're listening to like the Lord of the Rings soundtrack. Or the Divinity Original Sin 2 soundtrack. Like, they're not listening to rap.
suppose there might be something wrong with society. Perhaps we should address this, not just wave it off as empowering or pathetic. According to several different articles, I love how that's my source, I read about it on the internet, research shows that people from individualist countries show a greater sense of loneliness. This is linked to socioeconomic development, increased education, a shift...
Y'all want to see a chart that's pretty cute? This chart right here, from 2008 to 2018, within 10 years, it went from 8% to 27% dudes. that can't get a girlfriend and hook up with a chick. You know what came out in 2008? Wrath of the Lich King. Funny little fact there. But, yeah, there you go.
Towards white-collar jobs and urbanization. Japan also has an issue with loneliness. In fact, they have a whole movement of people they call the Hikikomori. Did I say that right?
Probably not.
Basically, postmodern hermits. Mostly young men who completely withdraw from society. So
I don't see this as a problem. I think, like, and there's also girls that do this in Japan, too. I think it's probably like a 90-10 or like 80-20 thing where it's mainly guys that do it. But there are girls that do it as well. And I think that the reason why is that, like, living life can be really fucking annoying.
Yeah, I'm back in the city.
You're always having to do things that you don't want to do. Because you think about it, right? And you wake up in the morning, and you just got done going to a school for a degree you didn't really want to get. And now you're going to a job that you don't really want to work at. You drive through traffic or sit through a train that takes an hour while you're playing a gotcha game that you don't have enough money to buy the good characters, so you keep losing to people that are like some oil prince in Dubai who's farming you. You finally get to work, and you have to work there for 12 hours a day, and if you leave before the boss does, then you get fired. So then, after all this stuff happens, you get home, it's another 2 hours on the subway, lose into another oil prince, maybe some trust fund kid in America is now farming you in fake Grand Order, like, I don't know, one of those fucking gotcha games, I don't know if that was PvP or not, but it doesn't matter. Point is still the same. You get home, and then now you have to, now you play a video game that you fucking hate. You play League of Legends, but you stop playing League of Legends. That was 6 years ago. And to you it feels like yesterday, but everybody else has moved on. And you're still in gold. And you're in gold in 2017. Things aren't moving forward. You don't have a girlfriend. You stay up late playing League, thinking to yourself, just one more game, I'll see if I can get my placement game for the next rank. And then you get to your placement game and you lose. You go to bed, it's late, and you're mad, and you wake up the next morning, and you didn't get enough sleep for work, and then the cycle repeats itself, right? So, what is it a surprise that people are like, you know what, fuck this, like, I'm done, like, I just, like, I don't want to deal with this, I don't want to live this life. What's the point? Yeah, it's like, well, what are you working towards? I think that's really what the problem is that, like, people don't have a North Star. Like, for example, like, back in the old days, right, like the 50s and, the idealized time, you got, like, Jesus, and you got, like, you're gonna have a family, and it's like, you don't need to worry, like, and there's also, like, you don't have to worry, right, so the 50s, it's like, everyone's just gonna do their comments, and well, we got, right, and so there's, like, not only is there, an afterlife, but there's also the free-spiritedness of, like, it's gonna all be over at any second. So it's like, I think people don't have a North Star anymore. They don't have anything to work towards. There's nothing that they can do. It's because more intelligence, because more life concepts, and because life is harder. Yeah, exactly. Tell entrepreneurs had a hard time getting the healthcare they need. Oh yeah, of course, right? And then this is a problem for you as well. It's compounded on top of your problems. Yet you can't buy a house, but you can't work towards Apex Predator and Apex Legends. Yes.
They themselves in their rooms for months and years at a time. It's what
I remember whenever I graduated high school, I wanted to spend an entire year and not talk to anybody. There would be like whole weeks I would be able to get away with it. God damn, that was fucking good.
There was an estimated 700,000 hikikomori in Japan. And today it's estimated to be about 1.55 million.
That's a lot of Genshin Impact players.
And because of things like this, people aren't having babies, so Japan's population has been in a sharp decline since 2011. It's gotten so bad that Japan even produces videos of live-action women staring into the camera to help the hikikomori learn to cope with eye contact and reintegrate them back into society.
Yeah.
So basically, if you want to know America's future...
Well, they're fucked.
Sure, look no further than Japan. A lot of people, including myself, blame this partially on the rise of social media and technology. R.I.P. to the king. Although technology makes things easier, it can also make us...
Ted Kaczynski knew. He said, fuck that industrial revolution shit. Yeah, so this guy, that guy, alright, so Ted Kaczynski was the Unabomber, so he wrote like a massive fucking manifesto, and the FBI spent like $50 million to try to get his ass. They did get his ass, and recently he's been in jail for a long time. He finally died recently. And anyway, he did all of this stuff, and what else? So basically, like, what he said is that he wanted, like, basically, the larger scale of society causes people to lose their sense of individuality and self, because there is, like, a governing apparatus that suppresses their life. And that, like, that happening was, like, enabled by the Industrial Revolution. And guys, I'm not saying, oh wow, the crazy guy is right. I'm just explaining who the guy is and what he thinks. Okay, I'm just saying this is what he said.
More atomized. Why go to the mall when I can just tap, buy a new microphone and have it shipped to me in a day? Why hang out with friends when I can get all my social interaction I need from Twitter and streamers? Why go on dates and bother meeting women when I could just tap, Google big boob and get 2 million results? Or see my...
It's more than that now. And also, the better thing now is that people are getting AI girlfriends and stuff. Like, I think sometimes whenever I see something really fucked up on the internet, I'll screenshot it just so I don't forget about it. And, like, I've been seeing a lot of these advertisements recently. Have you guys seen these? Advertisements for, like, these AI girlfriend websites? Dude, there's so many of them. Like, Replica? Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the big one. And, like, you're gonna have even more of those. And I think people are gonna have... I think it's not as close as we might think to it being socially acceptable. But, like, here's a really good way to say it, okay? Is that if you go and you watch Amaru at, or, like, Viz or Tecto or any of the people at, fucking Anime Expo, there are people walking around Anime Expo with bodybuilders. And, like, it's gone from being, this is something that only the biggest fedora-wearing losers do, to it being kind of funny. And it going from being fucking weird to a joke is a step up in accepting it. Right? And so I think the AI girlfriend stuff is going to happen. Are they crunching? Probably.
High school crushes holes on OnlyFans for only $5. Instant dopamine, instant satisfaction, and hey...
No, there it is, yeah. And there's this... There are these girls on Instagram, or not Instagram, OnlyFans. OnlyFans, Fansly, one of the big things that these girls make money with is, like, doing, like, obviously, like, there's girls say, like, oh, I'm doing customs, right? And that's, like, you know, you tell, like, oh, you know, do this, I'll give you $10, and, you know, they do $10. But, like, there's also girls that, like, dudes will pay money just to send them messages and talk to them. It's straight up just like strippers. But the best thing about it is that a number of these girls, and this is not like a secret, they're not even answering the messages. It's like, maybe it's like a dude answering the messages. They hire dudes, yeah, they hire people to answer their messages. Isn't that insane? Yes, and also, if you don't believe that, Andrew Tate literally did this. He said that. Yeah. AI no need to hire them. Yes, and remember, was it Amaranth or was it some other girl that was going to get like an AI version of themselves to talk to people? And they were making tons of money off of it, too.
If we just have an AI girlfriend or some dating apps really are the great saint. I'm convinced that we work in men's brains. Women on dating apps are picky. Women in general are picky, and I
it makes sense that women are picky. You look at it biologically, some dude hooks up with a girl, fucking busts a nut, bro, he's down the road. Meanwhile, she's got to deal with this shit for 9.5 months. Like, evolutionarily speaking, it makes sense that girls have to be more picky. 18 years? Well, I mean, that's only because of the law, right? Yeah, I've listened to the Kanye West song you're referring to. I know what you mean. Hoflation is a real thing. Don't downplay it. Hoflation. What is hoflation?
Pitiful dog.
This is a new one?
I really do.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Is this a new one? Since it's a Red Bull shit? Yeah, no, it is. But like, the price of hoes is too damn high. Girls are less hot with higher standards. Girls are less hot with higher standards. I don't know. I mean, guys are less hot with higher standards. Yeah, it's like, how do we not know that's the same? It's like, I get what you're saying, but like I've never used a dude. Okay? I really mean, I've never downloaded Tinder, Bumble, Christian Mingle, Farmers Meet, Plenty of Fish, Grindr. Yeah, I haven't done any of these ever. So I don't really understand this. But like, whenever I see, like, girls will show me some other guys to match with them, and this will be like, you know, for example, like a 20-year-old, and it's a 45-year-old man matching with her, and he's married. He has a picture of him and his wife in like his photos because it's connected to Facebook. So it's just like, I don't know. Inflation is real, is it? Like, that is nuts. Searching for a second wife, maybe? God. Yeah, there you go.
That's what we are here. You know, we're the ones who carry babies.
Yeah,
But on dating apps, you have to admit, it's a little insane. It's safe to say that the commodification of love, window shopping, of dating apps probably has to do a lot with the rise of lonely single men. Men are not just lonely when it comes to dating, they're lonely when it comes to friendship too. According to Vox, Americans are currently in a friendship recession, and men are being hit the hardest. The percentage of men who reported having at least 6 close friendships fell in half since the 90s. 45 men say they have
2021. I don't know. I feel like that's a bad frame of reference because that was during COVID. Again, I'll read something and try to like. I'm the kind of person that will like read something and then try to find out how it's wrong. Just like that's just how I think. So like maybe I'm like rethinking it, but is that true for you guys? Hoflation means 25-year-old and almost 40% harder for a woman, 40% less appealing than his grandfather was to his grandfather. This is like the thing. It's like,
Was it worth it, Walter? Their blood is on your hands.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not like going and like trying to date a bunch of different girls. Like, what the fuck? Like, I have no idea. So it's hard for me to say. The 666 rule in order for a guy to back. Oh yeah, 6 figures, 6 feet, and 6 inches. Yeah, I've heard of that before. The women are also less appealing now because of porn. I think that is true. I think that guys, and like this is just what happens on social media. I think it fucks up people's head on social media, where like guys will look at a girl and think that she's ugly because she doesn't look like an anime. She doesn't look like Mikasa from fucking Attack on Titan, you know?
No close friendships. Looking at all these statistics, the explosion of figures like Anthony is not surprising at all.
I believe being a man is a blessing because it starts so different.
Oh, I agree with this too. I agree with Anthony with this. You know, people talk about all the advantages that women have and everything like that. True, but like, goddamn, man, every day I wake up, I thank God I was born a man. I'm gonna be honest.
that every man is born without
Also, like, for a lot of you guys that might say, like, oh, no, I don't feel that way, like, wait till you're 33. Like, the perspective you have at 23 versus 33, very different situation.
I think that the world's never going to think you're important unless you make yourself important.
Recently, a new study came out about how young men are moving towards human rights. And every other month, we, the liberal, soft-down, leftist, whatever you want to call the space online, performs the same song and dance. What's wrong with men? Why is this happening? Why don't we have a leftist Andrew Tate? We need to push men to the left. Andrew Tate rarely, if ever, talks about politics. Andrew Tate talks about men, and the left only talks about men when they talk about Andrew Tate.
There's also, like, a lot of guys, like, to be honest, I think a lot of guys like being abrasive, obnoxious, assholes, aggressive, and guys don't like getting tone policed. And I feel like all the fucking time, you get tone policed for acting that way. Constantly. And so that's why I think people go towards that direction, because they don't want to get tone policed. They don't want to get told what to do. They don't want to get told, like, oh, well, you can't make that joke. You can't act that way. Shut the fuck up. I do what I want. And that's why they do it. It's because you have people doing something that in their mind is innocuous. It gets described as something that's completely different, and then they get treated as if that was the intention. And so they say, fuck you. I'm not going to do that. It's like, man up. I've always felt like, it's so hard to have somebody respect you and never get over. Maybe that's the same thing as girls, right? Because like a lot of guys are only sympathetic to girls because they want to fuck. So like, I have to listen to her cry. It's like doing a daily quest or a weekly quest or like building up a reputation with a faction. Wow. It's like, you know, you get like a really hot girl. It's like the Saber Frost Trader, Frost Traders. It's like maybe you get like a couple of easy ones. It's like, you know, getting hired for a reputation or something like that. So it's like, you know, this girl's not as hard to get. But like, you know, sometimes you want to have the more, you know, interesting mounts, and so you'll try to farm out like a Zoom tiger. And so it takes longer. Well, it takes longer to do. But like at the end of the day, you know, guys are not doing this out of the goodness of their heart. They're doing it because this is a means to an end. And so I think that a lot of the generosity and a lot of the like kind of the way that like the advantages that girls enjoy from like male attention and like males like doing things like that and being supportive towards them, that will go away instantaneously as soon as either she gets a boyfriend or she's not attracted to him anymore or something else changes, because it's not actually genuine.
Months ago, during one of the monthly song and dances, some progressive people I follow made the mistake of addressing men's issues. And the even bigger mistake of pointing their finger at...
The reason why young men flock to alt-right MRA movements, MRA is men's rights activist, is because the left gives brain-dead advice to young men. We need to be more compassionate to them for our own sake. Yeah, I think this is like, I don't know if this is like a left or a right thing, because I think actually, I think that, like, I feel like Andrew Tate is like, it's not very compassionate either, but there's like a certain level of like male compassion to the lack of compassion that's more compelling.
Their own spaces for not doing enough to address said men's issues.
Recently, there were some statistics by healthcare company Cigna indicating that men are the loneliest generation. And addressing it doesn't mean that you turn your back on issues pertaining to women, but it does mean that we should...
Well, there's also a lot of women out there, right? I say this all the time. Is there are a lot of women out there that hate men. Like, in the same way that there are these, like every time something bad happens, like, remember there was that one YouTube channel, and I use this example because there was this one YouTube channel of this guy who played Red Dead Redemption 2, and the only thing that he did was he would lasso the women suffragettes. Those are the ones that were protesting for the right for women to vote. And, get them out of the town, drag them in the dirt, into the swamp, and, feed them to crocodiles in Red Dead Redemption 2, or put them on, the train track and have them get run over by the train. And, bro, all the comments were like, dude, good one, bro. Can you do it with, can you have, a bull attack them, knock them off a cliff or something? Oh, it was so good. And then, 2 days later, you see a new video come out, based, bro. Yeah, exactly. And so, there are a lot of guys that just simply resent women. And I think there's a lot of women that just simply straight up resent guys. Some reasons being, I think, reasonable and understandable. Some reasons are fucking stupid. And there's a lot of them as well. But yeah, that's the reason why you see this, is that, whenever women see this, there are some women, it's in their mind, right, their dad was an asshole, maybe they had, bad sexual experiences growing up, something in their mind just fucking happened, and, now they fucking hate men. It's the same reason why I think people are racist, too. It's a lot of the people that I think are racist probably had a bad interaction with a person of a certain race, and then that painted their entire perspective on everybody in that race. That's what happens. Or they navigate, or something like that.
Be focused on what it is in society that is leading to this epidemic, what the left can do to offer solutions, and how we can basically fight back against the more nefarious figures who have filled the void that, men are struggling with, people like Jordan Peterson and what have you. Now, recently, Bosch, who's a popular streamer, had tweeted this thread that I think is really, really important to address. He writes, "I cannot stress enough how important it is to understand that 12-year-old white boys on Twitch are not being pulled into fascism because of some Machiavellian desire to preserve and expand their privileges. It's because the right talks to them and the left doesn't."
I think it's people like 12-year-old white kids or 12-year-old boys in general don't want to be told what to do. I actually think that it's way more simple than people are making it out to be. They don't want to be tone policed by, by women, by teachers, by their parents, by anybody. They want to go on the internet, act like absolute fucking psychotic, racist assholes, watch Ethan Ross or Kai, burn down their house or start a riot, and they fucking love it. And you know how I know that? It's because I used to be 12. There's not a fucking political, manifesto behind this. It's, bitch, shut the fuck up. Don't tell me what to do. That's all there is to it. They're not fascist. They're not, Nazis. They don't even care.
Main system, reactivating combat mode.
Responses to these tweets and this content were very normal, level-headed, and respectful. Me when I lie.
Yeah, well, here we go.
LMAO, cry about it. Boo,
God, well, what's this here? What is this?
LMAO.
I think it's true, though. I do. I think this is true. And I think also, it's more that the reason why I think it happens is something that's a lot more general as well, is that a lot of guys don't have strong father figures. They just don't. There's no father figure in their life. There's no, guy that, tells them, what the fuck are you doing, etc. And if they do have a dad, maybe their dad is, a loser or something like that. They don't respect their dad for whatever reason. Who knows why. And, it's that's a huge problem. And I think that guys that grow up without that, they're looking for an internet dad. And I think that's what Andrew Tate and Jordan Peterson are. They are internet dads. Popular behavior, yes. I think that's really what it is.
cry about it. Boo.
Yeah, Joe Rogan.
Oh no, poor widow men having problems. Boo.
Dude, of course this is what you don't want to do. To be honest, this is just probably somebody fucking thinking that it's that simple. Like, I don't think that, again, there's not a political ideology behind this. Most of these people have unresolved trauma. And so they go on the internet to let it out.
What the f up then? Have men considered being smarter? I'm enjoying all these sad little moids and their sad little tweets about their sad...
Oh, that's good. You want this up? I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I don't really find this offensive or stressful at all, or, like, upsetting, because guys tweet this shit out all the time about girls, too, right? I mean, I think this is just, like, it's just psychotic behavior on the internet.
Pathetic lives.
Not really.
Sounds like a person.
You think not really? Dude, I actually think that it's worse for women. Like, I think that, like, whenever there's, like, a girl that has something bad happen to her, I always see guys that are like, yeah, that's what she gets. Even if it's something horrible. A good example of this, actually, no, I won't use that one because that wasn't really, it was a very complicated one. Yeah, no, I think that there have been examples of this, so I'll have to think of some that are, like, less controversial.
Problem is the lack of compassion for men ruining this right now. Maybe men are just not good people then. I'm so fucking tired of people trying to make male loneliness a huge societal problem. Yeah, no, their fifis are not my responsibility, and I shouldn't have to be punished because they can't get their shit together as human beings.
How much do you want to bet that the girl that wrote this had a boyfriend who was emotionally abusive, that didn't have their shit together, and was an asshole? How much do you want to bet? Like, I bet, like, probably there's like a 95% chance this shit happens. Like, I mean, bro, you know this is what it is. 100% she's projecting. Yeah, they're all projecting. Like, that's what it is. Are you doing what she's complaining about, taking these issues and saying that women deal with it more too? I agree there's both sides to it. I think that I think women can deal with this and deal with it too. Yeah. Like, absolutely. What I'm saying is I think this is a problem of... So, here's my thing at, like, a more macro level, right? Is that I think that men and women are dealing with this problem, but the problem with, like, men dealing with it is that men don't have the same level of, like, social structure and social support around them. You know, like, example is that, like, how many shelters are there for women versus how many shelters are there for men. So it's not that men and women aren't dealing with it, it's that women might have more support from people in dealing with it. But also, as I said earlier, is that the support that women get from dealing with it, especially if it comes from men, is not really support. This is just self-serving behavior so the men can fuck them later on down the line.
It's an autonomous PCA craft.
It's complex.
Why are we trying to win these entitled little predators over? The left isn't for them. That's why they go right in the first place. We're all lonely and alienated. It's young men going to the alt-right droves. The problem isn't all this. It's them. It's literally not our problem. Men flock to Andrew Tate not because they're lonely, but because they're bigots. Hope this helps. Nah, it's just misogynists being louder than before and not getting home.
Let's also keep in mind, this is a person that got one life on the field. What I mean by that is that nobody actually
Wade, LOL, cry harder, losers. 90% of all homicides reported worldwide were committed by male perpetrators.
Oh, fun fact here. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure people know. Isn't the majority of domestic abuse actually initiated by women? The domestic violence? Yeah. That's cute, isn't it?
We should just get a old males, to be honest. This includes trans women, as they still retain male violence. By the way, you know the Tumblr feminists who were like...
Just had to tack that one on there.
Like, all men are sexist and rapist, male tears, penises are evil, blah 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 back in the day. Well, this is the now. Should've just let me cook back then. Listen up, chuckle. I'm white, socially awkward, autistic, in my 40s, ugly, overweight, crippled, got a weird balding pattern, and have bad skin.
I didn't, guys, this wasn't, I swear to God, this wasn't me. This was not me on the internet.
You know what I didn't do? Choose to become a fascist, because I recognize most of the sort that look like me are the problem. I may be hideously ugly and pathetic, but at least I'm not a fascist. Thank you for your input, buddy. You're, really helping the situation. The reason young men flock to alt-right MRA movements is because the left gives brain-dead advice to young men. We need to be more compassionate to them, for our own sake. I'm sorry, but how is respect women brain-dead advice? What advice? Rape? Don't be a rapist is bad advice? Help, I have no friends or community, I feel suicidal.
That's a problem. It's complicated, right? It is, because so there's like two sides to this thing. So like, number one, if you go to PetSmart, and whenever you're checking out your dog food, the person says, hey, listen, I know, like this is a thing, and I know some people do it, so I feel like I kind of just have to tell you since you're a dog owner. Please don't put peanut butter on your ball sack and have your dog lick it off. It's really weird, and it's actually against the law. So please don't do that.
The enemy has taken heavy damage.
If the cashier at PetSmart told you that, that would make you upset. That would make you mad. Right? And so, the patronizing nature of telling guys not to be abusive or anything like that, I think that it does kind of fall flat, and it feels like whenever you're telling people this, it's like you're kind of, like, by telling somebody this, you presuppose that they need to hear it. Does that make sense? And I think that presupposing that somebody needs to hear it is extremely insulting for a lot of people.
I'm sorry, Flavor.
However, there are a lot of guys that do not understand the idea of consent. And I'm not talking about saying yes every 30 seconds during sex. I'm talking about saying yes for anything. There are a lot of guys that just do not fucking get it. And I think the problem here